This tutorial is going to show you how to create a portrait in the style of Adam Hale, which here you can see an example of using Photoshop Mitch. So we're going to do a digital collage. So the faces are cut away and there's usually some flowers or an object that's revealed behind. So firstly, I would go and download some photographs that you're going to need to refer to, some examples of Adam Hale's work, some elements that could go into your collage, such as flowers, and you're going to need a couple of portraits to work from. You can see I've taken some here against a white background in front of a window, so you've got some nice clear portraits. Your work is better. So we're going to work on Photoshop Mix. So start by pressing the plus sign to open up a new image and choose the image that you want to work from. You're then going to go to the cutout sign with a pair of scissors, and it looks like it's cut out already, so we're going to add it back in. So choose the areas that you want to add in. Make sure you're on the smart area, and where it highlights, it's bringing the image back in. Where you can see the little grid, that will be subtracted. So when you're happy, press the tick sign, and then that leaves you with the image that you're going to work with. We're now going to cut away, like Adam Hale, an area of the face. So go to the cutout sign again and the lasso tool this time and subtract. And make a nice curvy shape over part of the face. Go right over the edge, and then you can see that it's taken that away. So press the tick sign when you're happy with that. You can always go to undo at the top, which are the two U-shaped arrows. We're now going to duplicate this layer. So click on the layer and then click duplicate. We've now got two of the same. I'm going to click on the top layer, and we want the other part of the image. So actually, if you click and hold the layer, and then we want to go back to cutout, and this time refine. So we're on the top layer, go to invert, and that will change the bit that we've cut out to the opposite side. Now, unfortunately, it also brings back some of the bits that we initially cut out. So in order to not see the layer underneath, if you double click on that layer, you can see it will have an eye that's been crossed out. That means it will just hide that layer underneath so we can see what we're working with. So going back to the cutout tool, this time subtract and just stroke over all of the bits that we want to get rid of. So we're just left with that piece that we wanted to cut out, and then press the tick sign. So we now have two layers. We've got the top layer with the front of the face cut out, and the bottom layer, which if you double click again will reappear, and then we can move them around by tapping, highlighting, and just moving your finger around. So we want a gap between the photographs. Now we're going to try and add our object in the middle. So we go to the plus sign to get a new image layer. Click on image. I'm going to select my flowers. Again, any images you choose. If you choose ones which are easier to cut out because they've got quite a contrasting background, it's much easier to work with. So go into cutout again, and there's a little bit of background here I want to get rid of. It's already deleted, so I'm actually making them reappear by clicking the add button and bringing back the flowers that I want to use and leaving the background that I don't want out. So I can zoom right in using two fingers to get into those bits of detail I want to bring forward. And if I make a mistake, I can always subtract some more out. So I want to get that little flower in. When I'm happy with it, I can then press the tick button and see what it looks like in my photo, in my image. There we go. So at the moment that layer is on top. If I click and hold, I can drag it so it goes between the layers. So you can see that's in between those two layers. You may wish to use yours like that. I'm going to put mine on the bottom so that it's hidden behind the front of that face, and the other one's on top as well. I'm going to move it so that I can't see it out of the edge. I'm actually going to twist this a little bit. So again, I'm just twisting my fingers around while it's been selected. That's a better view of the flowers. And then let's see if I need to move this top image. You know, so move when you need to make sure that that top layer is highlighted. Bit fiddly. I've got to twist that on an angle, get it where I'd like it, position it where I think it looks good. And then we want a background layer. So Adam Hale uses quite pastel colours. So I'm going to click colour this time instead of image and click where the colour is, and I can move that around by dragging it about till it's a colour that I think is right. When I'm happy with it, I press done. And that's gone on top. So I'm going to click and hold and drag that layer all the way to the bottom. So it's now the bottom layer and I've got a background. And that is my image pretty much completed. So that's my first attempt. You can see it could perhaps do with a little bit of refining, but for the moment I'm happy with that. So I'm going to leave that one as it is. If I click the back arrow at the top, it will go into my projects and it's just saving itself there at the moment. When that's done, I'm then going to click that little arrow, which will now allow me to do, and save it to the camera roll. So that's one of my images done. Now I could try the same again. I can duplicate that layer, I can change the background, I can try a different one, so you can have the opportunity to try it. So you can see that's now my camera roll, ready to send to my teacher. Fabulous. Have a go at